Are you listening? Damn. Yeah.
Welcome to the latest episode of Boss Talks. And if this is your first time listening, welcome. My name is Joel Lord, and I'm here with the amazing co-host Christine Drummond. And we are here with the sole mission to help you become the boss of your life. We want you to take the reins of your life. We don't want you living a normal life. We want you to live an extraordinary life because normal is boring. Crazy is the new awesome. And that's what we want you to have, an awesome life. So look, this does not come cheap because let's be honest, we're not cheap people. We're quality. The information is quality. And the fee that comes along with it doesn't cost you $1. What it will cost you is when you find this valuable, share it out. We don't run ads on our on Facebook for this, although we could. We do not take sponsorship from outside people, although we could. We want this to be completely free and feel like it's in alignment with everyone and alignment with us. So look, the only way we get out there is if you give us reviews, if you share it with someone that is in need of hearing this information. And today you're going to want to share it because today's topic is how to stay strong when things are going wrong. And this is such a common theme for entrepreneurs when we coach people, when we are consulting for larger companies. This entrepreneurial journey, it can be challenging. Do not believe the latest thing where the hustle is dead. You know, like that's just a catchphrase. I get it, but I've never heard a business owner who's got it to the successful level that's gone, yeah, that was easy. Yeah, like I had no trouble doing that. I'm so good at this and it never gave me a worry. I'm now a billionaire and it's all good. It's always, wow, that was harder than I ever thought it would. If I knew it was going to be that hard when I signed up to this, I probably wouldn't have done it. That's the norm. But how do they keep going? And today, Christine and I have got strategies and tips we've heard by talking to these people, by living it ourselves, about how to keep going. Because you know what? Every single business owner we talk to may say that it was harder than they ever thought it would be, but they also say in the end it was worth it. Totally worth it because they did things that people won't do, regular people won't do. They are now living a life that other people only dream of. So that's what it is. So I've got a story around this. It's pretty recent. Christine and I currently, as at the recording of this, are deciding that we are maniacs. And we knew we were maniacs, but we're out loud and proud about it. And so what do? We decide, you know what, we want to do a countrywide tour. And then we went, well, you know what, that's what regular people do. That's not really like extraordinary people. What would an extraordinary person do? Well, they would put 2 events on in every city. They do 2 extraordinary things, you know, and then we're like, well, you know what, that's extraordinary, but we're not really being maniacs there. So what did we come up with? We decided we're going to do 3 things in every major city, and even some of the the smaller country towns, and you know, here on the Gold Coast, you know. So we're doing 3 things. We're training people how to look after their money, because wealth, in a lot of cases, is health. It's so important. It's such a massive stressor. And you know what? We did a podcast about it last week. So you've obviously listened to that. And if you haven't, go back and listen to it. But you'll know how important, like if you're listening to this, you know money is important. And we show people how to do it. The second thing we're doing is we're going crazy for an amazing health and wealth event with an amazing master chef. He's like the top of his class in what he does. He's cooked for people like Tony Robbins, and like if that isn't a good enough plug, I don't know what is. Ronaldo, he's amazing, and we're blessed to be going down for some events with him, and because you know the second pillar of having a masterpiece life is your health, so you need to eat the right foods. And the last one is exercise, but what we've done is we've coupled the exercise with rollerblading a marathon. Now, I'm not doing that because that's maniac stuff. That's what like Christine's doing. I'm running 5Ks of stairs, and that's for charity. So in every single place, we are like doing something crazy, and that's on top of, you know, running Facebook ads, on top of running our other businesses, on top of other events that we're doing locally, like consulting for our clients, being present for our family, actually taking care of our health and actually remembering to eat and sleep and do all those kind of things. So you can understand that one little thing that doesn't go right can derail so many good things that are happening. And it can be very easy to hit that slippery slope and go down. So like, for example, like when we hit the Facebook ads, my Facebook ads to help get the word out, they kept on getting rejected. And I'm like, I don't have time to keep on going back and fix these things. The coronavirus is happening. So people aren't worried about their money. They're worried about their toilet rolls. Like at the time of recording in Australia, people are stockpiling toilet rolls. Now, if they save their money in the same way that they're saving toilet rolls, they'd all be rich. Let's be serious. No one's getting on planes. No one's doing anything. They're not going out. They're so frightened. The media's got hold of them. You can understand how that might derail putting 50 people in a room. You can understand how that could become challenging. And that's when you got to keep your eye on the ball the most. That's when, you know, and that has been challenging for me. There's been times where I've thought, oh, I'm so worn out, I don't feel like going for my exercise today. Or, oh, bugger the diet, I'll just have this little bit of comfort food or something like that. Or, or the ultimate, stuff this. There's got to be something easier to do than this. I'll just shut down and go to bed and I won't get out of bed and that'll be it. But that's what I do is I got excited. I realized, you know what? I thought of all the people that I'd let down if I didn't put this event on. One way or another, we're going to get a message out about these things, whether the coronavirus is there, because if it's not the coronavirus, in 6 months, it's going to be something else. There's never going to be a perfect time where the coast is clear and everything goes well. You know, you've got to find a way like to get your message out there. So no matter what, it's happening. No matter what, we're doing it. And, you know, your kids are watching you, all these things. You got to show them how to like have that intestinal fortitude just to suck it up and make it happen no matter what, because your dream will be tested, especially right before you're about to have a massive breakthrough, the hardest, by the universe. Now, I'm a big believer in the universal laws. When you are just about to become responsible for many more souls, because Christine and I, we have a coaching business and networks reaching out. Well, the universe is not going to give you those souls to take care of, to teach, to mentor, if you are just going to quit. Imagine if you quit on them. When they come to you, whether they pay or not, whether they're looking up to you. And if you show them that it's okay to quit, then they're going to start quitting. And then you owe some karma. So, Christine, massive intro. I went on a rant, but I've been told on good authority that you've got some stuff to say.
I do, but before I get started, I just want to say how professional you look today. So for all the people that are watching this on YouTube, and for those that can't actually see, Joel has a beautiful love heart hanging out his head. He's got our logo behind him today, which is JK Connect, and it says at the heart of your success. And we're at the heart of your success. We actually give a shit, guys. And that's why we do this podcast for free. That's why we don't advertise it and you know, be an affiliate and have all those things. We want this information to be accessible to everybody. But today's topic, you know, how to stay strong when things are going wrong. We all know those people, or maybe you've been in the situation where you're just having one of those days and then all of a sudden it affects your mood, your vibration, and then it turns into now you're having one of those weeks. And then next minute, it's like the weeks just roll into the months. And then next minute, it's a year's gone past and you've just had one of those years and you just want to wipe it off. You come around to October, November, December, and you're just ready for that new year. Bring it on because it's a fresh start and you just want to wipe out the year that you've just had, because it's like a cycle. This cycle keeps happening, right? Who's ever had one of those? I know I've had one of those years before. But here's the thing, and this is what I see, especially as a coach, this is what I see. The new year rocks around. We get all enthusiastic for the first 2 to 3 weeks. And then guess what? Life happens again. And then it turns into a week, a month, and then all of a sudden another year's gone past. 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, and we haven't changed a flipping thing. So today I'm going to share sort of how, when you have those days, how it can totally impact ways in which we don't even understand. You know, what you do with those days. And I'm going to tell you that, like, you've got two options when you have one of those days as well. But most of the times these days happen on the days where we really, really, really need things to go right, don't they? Like the bills are pouring in right when you're down to your last dollar, you get 3 bills in the post. Or maybe that's a bit old term. People are getting bills via their phones these days. So maybe the bills are rolling in. Maybe the car breaks down, the dishwasher stops working. Maybe you have to pay a school fee or something. And it's just like, when am I going to catch a break? Who's had one of those days or one of those weeks? It just feels like the world's against you. Guess what? The world is against you because you've manifested that. You've manifested. This is a pattern. This is a cycle that you're on, guys. And of course it keeps happening, and it feels like it's happening more and more regularly because it's your mindset and the level that you're playing at. It's your vibration. It's your focus. You've dropped the ball. You've stopped focusing on what's important, like gratitude and love and things that actually matter in life. You've dropped the ball and you've started to focus on scarcity and fear and loss of, okay? So when that happens, when you're having one of those days, guess what? It affects your mood. And it's usually something external that has forced you to have one of those days, isn't it? So our mood drops. We start putting negative energy out there, and it starts radiating off us so that everyone else around us can feel it. And guess what? Then it has ripple effects. And now everyone else's mood is affected because of your mood. Everyone now is treading on eggshells to be around you because they have no idea if you're going to crack. So it all comes from the way that we respond when things go wrong. So we get weak instead of getting strong. And today we're going to teach you how to be strong in these moments of weakness. So what happens when we have one of these days? What usually happens, and this is what used to happen to me, was I started to blame everything else. I started to point the finger at everybody else. You know, I started to point the finger at the circumstance, at the people, at the business, at the service that I got, you know, at God, if you believe in God, the universe, karma. You know, I started blaming everybody else, everything else. And instead of going within, I went without. And I stopped looking at myself. And I think that's where we get it wrong, Joel. I think we stop looking at the person in the mirror. And guys, we're not perfect. Like, I still have those days, but I'm able to capture it so much faster now, so I don't let it affect me for more than a few minutes. Okay, and that's where we want to get you to. So we're always going to have it. Life is never going to stop happening to us. It's the way that we're brought into balance. But guess what? You can't control a lot of the time when life happens. You know, maybe a parent ends up in hospital. That's definitely happens on a regular occurrence, it seems like, for me these days. But you know what? It's how you respond. It's how you react. It's how you prepare. And I'm already mentally prepared before those events actually happen. And that's what we want to teach you. We want to teach you to mentally prepare so when life does happen, you're already in a positive state about it. Okay, because it's never going to stop, guys. So life doesn't discriminate. Okay, it's always going to throw curveballs at you, but you've got two options. And the first option is you can push the emotions into such a negative state that you end up saying things to others that really harm them and cause damage to that relationship. So isn't it funny? When we're vibrating low, when we're having a bad day, we often regret the things that we say to people. And guys, people don't forget. They don't forget what you say, and they don't forget the way that you made them feel. Okay, so I really want you to really know that there are consequences to you having a bad day. And you go so low that no one wants to be around you. You vibrate so low that you're not getting invited to people's places for a barbecue. You're not getting invited to the social work get-togethers or have a beer after work. You're not getting invited to the mums groups because no one wants to be around that negativity, that toxicity. You know, you've got to learn to reduce the drama, guys. I don't do drama in my life, and people know it. You get in life what you tolerate, and I don't tolerate it, so I don't get it. Okay, I'm not manifesting drama because I don't tolerate it. So if you're the person that is operating here, and don't get me wrong, guys, I've been there. I've been that person. It happened to me in my early 30s when I turned 30, and no one showed up to my 30th birthday party. Imagine that, having a 30th birthday party and not a single person shows. And why? Because I was in that space. I was that person vibrating low, being negative, saying things that I regretted to people that I didn't mean at the time. I was in this negative vortex, and people could feel that. That ripple effect went out, and of course no one wanted to be around me in that state. I manifested that, guys. I take 100% responsibility that no one came, because it was the place where I was at, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, financially. Okay? But just because you're having a bad day doesn't mean it has to turn into weeks, months, years. Okay? If you're not careful, it can absolutely affect you in the long term. And as I said, people will always hold you to it. And that's what's wrong with society. We hold people to mistakes. We don't forgive easily. Okay, so we really want to help you change that level of vibration, change the consequences. So I know that it feels like the world's against you sometimes. I know that. I know what that feels like, and we get it. Joel and I have been there. We've walked that journey, okay? And it's probably going to feel like that again. But guess what? Every challenge is an opportunity for growth. When you change your mindset around it, when you start coming from gratitude and going, okay, what's the lesson in this? And asking more empowering questions rather than being in a disempowering state and asking disempowering questions, your whole world will change, guys. I guarantee it. So you can choose to be bitter, or you can choose to be better. And Joel and I have learned, because we've gone within, we've chosen to be better. When challenges come up, when life throws us curveballs, we choose to be better. We choose to grow. Because if you're not growing, guys, you're dying. Okay? If you're not progressing, you're regressing. Okay? So I really want you to get this today. We want you to use that energy of having a bad day, and we want you to make it productive. Imagine that. You make it work for you rather than make it work against you. How cool would that be? So instead of saying, oh my God, it's going to be one of those days, everything keeps going wrong. I can tell it's just going to be one of those days. Instead of having that mentality, how about saying, I'm not going to let this kill my vibe. Bring on the next positive thing that's going to happen. This is absolutely not going to ruin my day. Imagine having that kind of positivity. Imagine being able to laugh it off and change your state. So Joel, that's the first option I want to talk about. I don't know if you want to come in here before I get into the second option, but I know that you see a lot of people out there that are playing at this level.
Absolutely. And you know what? I've just read a book called Extreme Ownership, and it was lucky that I see a lot of what they're saying in there is something that I've learned to do. And it's taking, like, obviously what it says, extreme ownership, whether, we have a room with 50, 100 people in, or 10 people or 0 people for an event that we do in the future, that comes back to us, that we need to take 100% responsibility for it. Not that we did it, we deliberately did something, but it's still, we've got to take responsibility. Like, well, what do we need to do? Well, we need to take responsibility that we didn't communicate our message well enough to get the word out, to get people to come, so that's it. So that's no different to people that have had other things go wrong in their life. Like what you're saying there, like you've manifested in your life somehow, and that's the truth. And if you blame someone else, you are never going to move forward. Like, I sat in a bad situation for such a long time, like we're talking decades, and I could have gone at any time, but I sat there and decided that I was going to blame and wait it out and everything could be better another day. And it just didn't get better until the universe came along and went, like, this guy, he must be really thick because I'm going to really kick him out the door. And it happened. And eventually I just went, you know what? Like, I could have gone at any time. If had I taken 100% responsibility, had I backed myself, and here's the thing, if I dropped you in the middle of the, I don't know, the bush somewhere out, you could Bear Grylls it. You would be able to do things that you didn't think you could do, you know? And we're not saying you need to be the best or be Bear Grylls, but you could do it. If your kids were in peril, you would do superhuman things that you would never say that you could do. So humans can do freaking amazing things when their back's against the wall. So if your back's against the wall, be excited because you have the opportunity to do something freaking amazing. And that's it. So like my mentor said to me, Joel, if you just, you're in you've done really well in life. I just done a really successful deal that like really changed my wealth and changed my life. And I didn't know what to do next. And he said, you're actually in a worse position than people that have to go to work. And I said, oh, what do you mean? He goes, you're in a really dangerous position. You now can coast through life and like, if you're not careful, you'll start at 40, you'll blink your eyes and you'll be 50 and you would have achieved nothing more. And then you're going to have regret. He said, so even like go do something, go build something, go create something, go do something. Because the worst thing that you could do is like just like not commit to anything and like just waste 10 years of your life. He goes, it'll go that quick. Like this guy's like 75 or something like that now and super wealthy and everything like that. So like, I guess what I'm saying is take responsibility and then go freaking do something. And if you don't cop out and say, oh, I don't know what I want to do, just, well, something is better than nothing. Go do something you don't want to do, and that might lead to something that you do want to do. You know, I didn't want to work at the tip, and I did. And I moved forward. So, and honestly, guys, 95% of what you worry about is not even in your control. You can't control it. So all you can do is do your best to influence it and then put your head on the pillow going, you know what, I did the best I could today. That's it. That's it. The other 99%, leave it to the universe because it's not up to you. You can only do your best to influence people and situations, but you can't control it. Like we could not control the amazing coronavirus that's come out. We could not control a lot of things that happen in our life. You can't control when your parents are going to go to hospital, like that just happens. So that's it. So what do I do when this shit's getting on top of me and I'm like, wow, well, I know to get back into an empowering state, if I take an hour, and I meditate for an hour. I meditate for an hour. I walk into my room and I'm pissed off or things are going wrong and I'm in a negative state. I'm dropping to my default, which could be anger, frustration, fear, hurt, guilt. It could be any of those negative emotions. And as Christine said, low vibe. And I go meditate and I don't come out until I've sorted it out. Because there's no point coming out in a disempowering state, because here's the thing. I've got a question for you. If I gave you a glass and it had a liquid in there and I said, hey, drink this, over time, this is going to give you cancer, would you drink it? You're going to say no. You go, no way. And I'll go, well, hey, look, it's not going to give it to you today, but over the next couple of decades, this is going to give you cancer. You would say no. You'd slap it out of my hand. You'd probably call the cops. Then why the hell do you spend your time with negative emotions, which are proven to put poisonous chemicals into your body that cause cancer over the long term and heart disease and all these other nasty things? Why do you choose to do it if you know something like meditation is going to sort it out? Like, go meditate to get those shitty chemicals out of your body. And I'm not saying you have to meditate. Go find your thing. Maybe it's a walk on the beach. Maybe it's cuddling your kids. Maybe it's cooking, maybe running, or whatever it is. Go do that. Get back into a empowering state and get that cortisol out of you. There's no point having it in there. And if you don't, you are actively choosing and manifesting some shit down the road that you're probably going to go, oh, see, now this has happened. Well, maybe what you're doing now is helping that happen. So, yeah, Christine, that was lengthy as well, but
No, I loved it. I loved it. It's such a powerful way to look at it, you know. And I think what we have to do is we have to take the struggles, the inconveniences that we're having, the low energy, and we have to be able to move beyond it. And the way that I do it as well is I dream bigger. So, you know, recently on one of our podcasts, we spoke about customer service, and, you know, we got roused on this plane, and it was really terrible customer service. So now I'm dreaming bigger to go, well, how can I get a flipping private jet next time? How can I get to a stage where I'm traveling in a private jet? I don't have to own it, but just travel in a private jet, hire it out so I can get from A to B and not have to put up with shitty service on a plane anymore. You know, I can eat what I want on there and, you know, get the level of service that I deserve. So that's what we need to do, guys. Dream bigger when there's inconveniences or these struggles pop up. If it's bills, you know what? I want to earn enough money that, you know, this could be you, that you are kissing your bills every time they come in. That's what I do. I come from gratitude. I kiss the bill and I go, thank you, thank you, thank you, because I've got the flipping money to pay the friggin' thing, because there was times there when I didn't have the money and I was so stressed, and that led to dis-ease in my body. You know, it led to toxicity in my body. I was, what Joel was saying, I was diseased. Couldn't get out of bed because I was not coming from gratitude. I was focusing on lack of. And I've been there, guys. It's a dark, dark place. And you can spend a lot of time there if you want, but I want to teach you how to have less of these days. Would that be helpful? If we could teach you how to have less of these days and ensure that these struggles, that these inconveniences happen and occur less and less and less. And the first thing you need to do is take some fucking responsibility and get organized. Start communicating better and stop letting the external forces dictate your mood, dictate your actions, your consequences. Stop blaming the government. Stop blaming the school. Stop blaming work, your boss, your kids, your partner. Stop blaming your family. Stop blaming the non-supporters that you know, or the doctors or whatever. Stop blaming other people and external forces for the way that you feel. Okay, no one can control the way that you feel. That is the number one thing that you actually have control of. And we can't control the way that other people feel, think, or do, or behave. Okay, so you've got to actually take responsibility and go, yes, Christine, you're right. I want to start feeling less of these things. I want to start experiencing less struggle, less inconvenience, less of the bad days. How do I do it? Well, it's all about being in a action state rather than a reactive state. Okay, a lot of us react instead of being productive. And just like I said before, preempting what's coming. You know, I already know that there's certain things that I'm not going to get around. I'll talk about my dad again. I do that a lot because he's going through such a rite of passage right now. He's in a transition phase, and we've already lost him emotionally and, you know, spiritually. Now we're just going to lose him physically. Okay, so I know that's coming, guys. So I've already started the grieving process for that, you know, and I want to give you guys the strength and the courage to be able to do that as well. Like, this is just a rite of passage we're going through, where we're in that stage where a lot of people around us are getting older. We're starting to lose family members and friends. Okay, so you can start thinking about that stuff and going, well, how do I want to handle it when it happens? Do I want to be in an empowered state? Do I want to be in a loving state? Or do I want to let my mood drop below the line and feel more of the emotions that Joel said before, the guilt, the shame, leaving words unsaid, and then having regret about things that you never got to say to that person, you know? So this is big, guys. There's consequences to this, and I really want you to get that, okay? So I want you to choose to vibrate higher. I want you to choose to tap into a different frequency. I want you to level up. I want you to feel more of the positive emotions like bliss and joy and happiness and gratitude and pleasure and passion and love and pride. Wouldn't you love to feel more of those emotions rather than the disempowering ones that Joel listed before? I know that I do, and there's things that you can do to do that. So the key is to look at not where you're going. That's too far out there, and a lot of people can't even look past the day that they're in. But what you can do, guys, is you can take an inventory of who you are now and be honest. Who are you being right now? Go and look in the mirror. Christine, you are crazy short-tempered. Yes, I am. Christine, you are being lazy right now. You are not stepping up to the level that you can really play at. Yes, exactly. I agree. Christine, you're playing too small. Totally. Be honest with yourself, guys. That takes courage. But from that courage, you're going to build confidence. You're going to start doing that ownership that Joel spoke about. You're going to stop the blaming because now you're going within and you're taking responsibility. You got to step up to the plate, guys. You got to swing your own fucking bat. No one's going to swing it for you. No one is coming to rescue you. This is your story. You're writing the chapters. I know that I want my story to end positively. I don't want the story of my life to end negatively. So I'm choosing my state every day. Yes, life happens. Yes, the car breaks down and it's inconvenience, but I'm not sitting there whining about it. I get resourceful and I'll take a flippin' Uber if I have to. Some people have their cars broken down and they've used that as an excuse not to turn up to something, to an event or to a barbecue or to, the car's broken down, bang, and they let it wipe them out for the whole day. No, get in an Uber, get in a taxi and get on with it. Okay, don't let these things stop you from living your life. Okay, you need to stay strong when things go wrong. You need to change your mindset. You need to change your physiology. You need to change who you're hanging around with. You need to change your environment. And I know some of you are going, Christine, that's easier said than done, or it's easy for you. No, you might be saying, Christine, but I'm trapped. I'm stuck in this relationship. I don't have any support. I don't know where to go. I don't have anywhere to go. I don't have a mum that lives in my town like you do. It's hard for me. You don't understand. I do understand, guys. I've had these challenges, okay? But you've got to start with the decision to change. If something's not working for you, change. But guess what? When you become the change you want to see, everything else starts to change. Guess what? Your relationships get better. They become more enriched. Now, maybe you don't have to leave that relationship because you've done the inner work. And now because you've done the inner work, you're now vibrating a different level and that's rippled out. And now everyone's vibrating different. And now you've got a beautiful, loving relationship that's blossomed from that. Or when you change your mindset, guess what? That has ripple effects. Now other people around you are starting to vibrate off that and you're starting to attract more positive people in your life. When you physically change, guess what? You mentally change. When you feel physically strong, you start to feel mentally strong. So get your ass at the gym, go for a run, do a weight session, go and work out with friends. Do what it takes, guys, because I guarantee I'm a personal trainer. When people feel physically strong, their mentality changes 100% of the time. I don't know anyone out there who's improved their fitness and has improved, like got stronger and they've gone, well, that was really shit. Geez, I feel terrible for doing that. No, 100% of the time over the course of being a PT in 10 years, everyone that I've seen get physically stronger has got mentally stronger as well. And guess what comes with that? Confidence. And when your confidence, guess what happens? When that increases, opportunities increase. Things open up, doors open up, relationships. You have more enriched relationships. You stop tolerating drama and toxicity in your life. And now you move up to a new level of consciousness. How awesome is that? So when you're having one of those days, guys, it's because you've manifested it. So stop manifesting it. Start manifesting better days. Break the fucking cycle. And I'm sorry for cussing today, Joel, but I think people really need to get this message. Okay? We might have to beat these out. But honestly, guys, you've got to get this. The level that you're vibrating at, your mentality, your physiology, your posture, your confidence, it's like the communication you're having with yourself, it all matters and it all has consequences. So the next time something happens that was out of your control, just shrug it off and go, didn't see that one coming. Laugh it off. Couldn't control it. Coronavirus. Didn't see that one coming. Okay, but don't have fear around it, because if you have fear around it, guess what? You're going to attract more of this. And statistics show, guys, if you have fear around getting cancer, if you have fear around getting a disease or illness, if you've got fear around getting this coronavirus, your body, your mind can actually start to produce the symptoms of those diseases to the point that they mimic it and you manifest it. That's how powerful your mind is. So you got to be really careful where your thoughts are going, where your focus is going. I don't know, Joel, has that been helpful?
It absolutely has. It's like I'm taking notes. It's what, like, honestly, like when are you going to decide to give yourself a kick in the backside and like have a go? Like, that's what I've said to my wife and, people that I spend time with. I'm like, what are we going to wait for? Are we waiting until we're 50 to like cast the fears aside and actually play a bigger game? And, at 30, we were saying the same thing, but now, like, what are we going to do? Wait. And then when we're 50, we'll have another excuse. Oh, we're not ready yet. Like, when will you be ready? Like, so like you have a choice. I'm going to tell you really, really in simple terms, there is only one thing you gotta do, and that's die. And you can put that off as long as you bloody well can for as long a time away from now as you can. You do not have to do anything else other than that. So just realize that. And I'm going to also let you know what the most dangerous firearm on the planet is. It's the gunner gun. I'm gonna do that. It shoots down more dreams and success than any other firearm on the planet. So you want to stay away from that. You want to like go hand that in to the police station and get rid of that gunner gun, because it's going to ruin your life. So when I was feeling my like worst in a fair while, like things were going not well for me, and this was like over the weekend and going into last week, and like I don't let that show. I still keep going because I've got responsibilities, and I know it's only temporary. Like I'm not like common sense would let you know that you've made it through 100% of your worst days, so you're gonna get through this too. Like the sun will always rise again. So just realize that time will take care of nearly everything. As long as you're making empowered decisions. Like time will ruin you as well if you continue to eat shitty foods over a long period of time. You're going to get fat and die. And if you eat healthy food over the long period of time, you're going to live well and live longer, hopefully. So what I do is when things are pushing me down, I feel the pressure. I'm like, okay, my current version of myself isn't handling this well. I need to step up. So I draw a line in the sand so deep that it shakes the universe. I start making decisions that tell the universe that I mean business. I push back. I get aggressive and I'm like, stuff it. So I declared to the universe out on social media the other day, I'm not saying you have to do that, but I'm like, I'm done playing so small. My current results are of my own doing. I need to get better so I can make a bigger positive impact on my life, my family's life, my friends' life, my community's well-being, my country's prosperity, and the entire world's conscious level. If you want to get better, if you want to have better, then you need to get better. So I wrote that. That's not me showboating. That was me like going, look at me, because you're going to see me actually do it. Because so many people can make big declarations and they don't do anything. But, I've got a business that relies on me walking the walk. So I'm walking the talk. So that's it. So do it. So you have a choice. The only thing you got to do is die. What did I do? I started doing more marketing. I started doing more reaching out to people. And what has happened since is I started hanging around people that were further in front than I am and doing things better than me in areas that I wanted to also be great. So one of the things that my coach taught me this year, he goes, what dramatically changed his life was he decided to start finding the people that are really at the top of their class in things that he wanted to be amazing at. Find a way to bring them value so that they will partner with him on projects so he gets inside their inner circle and he can learn how they do it. Now, that's not a negative thing. That's a really positive thing, because when you're talking about people that are the best in their category, they're not just going to let you walk in the door and get into the network and learn what they do. You got to bring tremendous value. So I decided like that's what I was going to do. And how do you do it? You ask. So at the point when I'm feeling the weight of the world on me, I thought, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start ringing these people. And I rang them and they said yes. I came up with a plan that I could bring them tremendous value. In fact, one of the coaches that taught me that, I used his own shit against him to get in the door with him. So it's because I know he's tremendously successful. So I want to be partnering with him so I can get better, because we want to get great at events. So I went and found people that are great at events. I knew my work ethic was good. And I thought, you know what? For this period of time, I need to be out of balance. I need my work ethic to go higher. So I started hanging out with a couple of guys that like 18-hour days are nothing to them anymore. And I'm not saying that's where I want to live, but when you want to build something, then you need to be okay with the hard work. So I started spending time with them. And here's the thing. Stop hanging with losers. Like, just get away from them. And I'm going to let you know on a little secret. Here's the other secret of the planet. Now, come in really close to your phone so you can hear this, because I'm going to whisper it. But if you're hanging around losers, you're also a loser, because losers hang with losers. So get away from them. Stop being a loser. Don't hang out with them anymore. And you're going to go, like what Christine said, oh, that's easy for you, Joe. It was not easy. And it was 100% worth it. Now it is so easy. If you are not on my vibe and you're not empowering and you're not happy and you're like in a consistent fashion, I'm not saying you need to be putting on the act all the time and winning an Oscar, like a Academy Award for the BS brigade. Like, I don't want that. But I hang around people that get shit done. I hang around people that want to make the world a better place. I hang around people that believe in mindset and health and wealth and money's okay and all these things that I want to excel at. That's who I hang around now. And if anyone comes and wants to give me advice on how I should live my life that aren't a snapshot of what I want my life to look like, or waking up from the matrix and wanting to transform their life from where they are now to where we are and where my mentors are and stuff like that, you're not in my group. You're out. I don't tolerate you. I don't answer your phone calls. I don't talk to you. Eventually you get the message and I'm free. I'm so freaking free. No one hassles me. Like, no one hassles me because I don't drink. No one hassles me because I do the 75 hard and I'm crazy. No one tells me I'm too this, I'm too that, I'm blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't have that because I've chosen to hang around empowering, amazing people. And like Christine said before, I didn't always do that. I hung around people that blamed, so I blamed. I hung around people that drank alcohol, so I drank alcohol. I hung around people that ate bad food, so I ate bad food. You name it. They were just ultimately by default negative. So I by default was negative. And my body gave me so many warnings. You know, the feather, the brick, the Mack truck, and then the meteorite. Then the black hole comes, and then I don't know what's after that, but I don't want to know. That all happened to me. And I look back now and go, wow, my body is amazing. It really told me. And if I'd have been looking out for those signs, I could have jumped out way earlier and saved myself a ton of pain. So that's what you do when things are going wrong and you want to stay strong. So yeah, Christine, throwing it back to you.
Mate, I loved everything you just said there, and especially around, you're going to die anyway. We're all going to die. There's no getting out of this life alive. So instead of fearing death, like I would be fearing, and this is my fear, is of not living life now while we have the opportunity. So death is coming anyway, guys, and it's up to you how quickly it comes. If you want to live a life of longevity and quality of life and vitality and health, then you better start living that life now, because that's going to compound. What you do today in regards to that is going to compound. And you've heard my goal before. I want to live a medication-free life and I want to live as old as I can. But there's no point me living there without all my friends and family. So I'm the example and I'm the positive light in their life so that they too know how to live a life of longevity and health and be medication-free as well. So, I'm reading this book at the moment, Joel, and it's the second time I've read it. It's called Think and Grow Rich. And he talks in here about the fears that people have. People have fears of old age, and what that brings. People have fears of ill health. People have fear of the loss of love. People have fear of the of death, you know, and people start to slow down, especially around our age. Like Joel's already 40, I'm 40 this year. People start to slow down, whereas I don't think men realize, but between 40 and 60, that's their growth years. That's their full potential years. That's where guys really hit their strides, between 40 and 60. Guys, don't slow down. This is when you should be absolutely speeding up. This is when, yes, you have that midlife crisis because the universe is trying to get you on a path that is in alignment with who you are, that's in alignment with your passion, your purpose. So you're going to have the crisis, the wake-up call to go, hey, hello, you're not on the correct path here. You need to find something that is going to light you up, that's going to set your soul on fire. And usually, guys, you find it between 40 and 60, and that's where you'll be most successful as well. So don't fear these things. Don't fear them, because the more that you fear them, the more that you manifest them, okay? But if you don't give them another thought and just go, you know what, I'm just going to live my best life now. I'm just going to go out there. And doing the 75 hard, it's so interesting to me to see people's excuses and what comes up for them in order for them to go back to day one. Whereas Joel and I, when we make a decision, we make a decision. It's locked in. It's non-negotiable. Like the 75 for hard, it's not about, oh, I'll try and get to day 30 and see what happens. And then if I get to day 30, I'll continue on to day 60. And if I get there, then I'll finish the 75. We go in it with the decision. We're doing that 75 hard. Now, Joel just shared off air before this that it was his son's birthday, and there was birthday cake, which I'm going to have to talk to his wife about. But there was birthday cake that Joel couldn't have because it wasn't part of his program as part of the 75 hard. So in the past, Joel would have eaten that cake. But because he made the decision to do the 75 hard and do whatever it took to get those 75 days done, he missed it. He skipped the cake. And for me, I've had my favorite chocolate in the house, and I did it purposely so that I could show myself how strong I am. Now, I love Ferrero Rochers. Love them. And I have every day a Ferrero Rocher in my face, and I'm on a day about 32 or something of the 75 hard. And I know it's easy now. I know that my willpower is so strong that I'll make the 75 days. So bring it on. If I can beat that, I can beat anything. And you guys are the same. You're just not testing yourself enough. You're just not seeing what your body, mind, and spirit are capable of, because you keep reverting back to your comfort zone. And guess what? Nothing grows in your comfort zone. You're eventually going to have to draw a line in the sand and step over it, guys. So I hope that you got something out of today's podcast. We enjoyed bringing you this topic today because we see so many people having life happening to them, and they don't know how to get out of that vortex. They don't know how to get out of the downward spiral. And hopefully today you got some inspiration and some insight into how you can take those first steps into making those changes that are necessary to pull you out of that state, to pull you out of that vibration, to go, you know what, me playing at this level does have consequences, not just for me, but for my kids, for my partner, for my colleagues, for my friends, for my family, for my community, for the planet. And if we continue to focus on things that scare us, that bring fear, that bring scarcity, the whole planet suffers, and we will suffer as a society, as a race, because of it. So I know, and Joel knows, we know there's horrendous things going on in people's lives. We know that. People close to us are going through the most horrendous things. They're losing loved ones. They've got horrendous diseases. We get it. But by us not doing the podcast, by us going, you know what, there's just too much terrible stuff going on in the world. Let's not do the podcast today, or let's not put anything on social media, or let's just be really glum and poor them. No, that's not serving them. That's not serving us. It's not serving the planet. We choose to show up, even though shit is going on in our lives, in other people's lives. We choose to show up and play at a different level, because that's how you raise the consciousness of the planet. And that's what we want to do. We want to live in a more conscious, a kinder, more caring, compassionate planet. a planet where people are more accepting, less judgmental, where we're looking for potential in people rather than things that we can nitpick and look, and that's how you raise each other up. Okay, stop looking for faults in each other, guys. Let's start looking for potential. We are all so unique. We all shine differently. We all have different traits and characteristics and different strengths. Let's start focusing on that rather than the things that we're getting wrong and the mistakes that we've made. And if you can do that, we will definitely live in a better world. Joel, do you have anything else to close this out?
No, that was a mic drop. I've loved everything you've said tonight. That was amazing. And yeah, I guess that's it. Wherever you are, have a most outstanding day.
Damn.